Hello, everyone. It is 12 o'clock Monday afternoon, a rainy Monday afternoon. If you're tuning in, say hello, and hopefully I'll be able to see you or see your comment, or because I'm streaming through Ecamm. And when I stream through Ecamm, I can't always see if somebody's watching. So if you are, say hello. So today's live, I wanted to talk to you about the fact that even if you have problems in your marriage or relationship, it's possible to still be able to enjoy your relationship. It doesn't have to be that you have all of these problems and it means that you can't find any good in it. You just have to be intentional about creating that. So here's what happens, right? So it's a bit of a mindset shift, but it's also going to be a practice that you want to start. So I just have some notes that I'm going to take a look at. So here's what happens, right? You get into a negative cycle. Maybe you're in a negative cycle with your partner. You've been doing the same thing for years. It repeats over and over, and it just feels like it never gets resolved. It's always there. It's always in the background. It's always on your mind, right? And so you're in this negative cycle. You've got this negative view of your partner. You've got this negative view of your relationship, and everything you see through this lens of negativity, right? So if something happens, you will see it through this lens and you'll make it mean that thing. So, like, say, for example, your thing is you don't feel like you're a priority to your husband or your boyfriend. And you believe that. That's the story or the thought that you tell yourself over and over again. And then when something happens, you notice it. And now when you're in this negative mindset, you're also noticing all the things. You're looking for the evidence that supports this story you have. So say, for example, this just is an example that I heard somebody tell me in a session once, is her husband went out. He went to Dunkin' Donuts while he was out, and he picked up a coffee and a donut for himself, and he came home, and he didn't think to call her and ask her. And so what she made that mean is, see, just one more example of how I'm not a priority and he doesn't think about me, right? And so, again, when you're looking through this negative view and you have a negative mindset and you've created this story, this is how you're going to view your relationship, and you are going to look for the things. This is what our brain does, right? Our brain will look for the evidence to support this story that we have. So what we do when we've been stuck in these patterns for a long time is we make this negative pattern or negative cycle mean that our whole relationship is this thing, this negativity, right? We define our relationship by this story that we have, this narrative that we have about our partner, about our relationship, about the fact that we're not a priority and they don't really love us, and here's all the reasons why. And it becomes like the entirety of how we view our relationship, right? And this will easily destroy your relationship, because the truth is it's only part of. Okay, so let me just say it again. This is only part of your marriage or relationship, right? We all have parts, each and every one of us, right? There's the parts that are, good parts, the not so good parts, the parts we like, the parts we don't like. We all have parts of ourselves, parts of our personality. And this is also true of our relationships, right? We have parts that are not so good, these negative parts that we are seeing through, that have defined our relationship by. That's only one part. Maybe you have there's a fun part of your relationship, right? There's moments that you share with your honey that you guys laugh together, or there's, warm, snuggly parts. Maybe you snuggle up on the couch and watch TV together. But the point is that there are different parts, right? And when you only see through this tunnel vision and identify your marriage as like it's all bad, then it's really hard to notice the good. So the mindset shift is that I want to offer that it is only one part. And if you start to think about it that way, that this negative view that I've had of my partner, my relationship is only a part of who we are, then it opens space for you to see the other parts. Perhaps the parts that you've been overlooking or ignoring, right? So, for example, like when I work with couples, they each have a very long list of all the ways that their partners are not measuring up, right? And the first thing we start to do is, I have them do, is start to notice the other side of that, right? Because they've been so focused on this negative stuff, they haven't seen the positive stuff. So here's what happens is they know that when they come into session with me, I'm going to ask them what's better, or I'm going to ask them to share what they appreciate or what they noticed about what their partner did, or what they themselves were doing to contribute to having things go better. And they'll say one or two things, uh, always with this caveat of, yeah, but he did X, but, or she did X, but. So this but sort of discounts it because maybe they didn't do it perfectly, or they didn't do it the way that the other person was hoping they would. Or, right, sometimes it even comes down to, well, I was hoping he would say X, right? So much as wanting almost to like give them a script to say it in a way that really would make the other person feel good. Um, but see, this is where we get tripped up, is that when we start to discount the positive, it continues to reinforce this negative, right? And so again, I want to bring that back to um, being able to see your marriage or relationship as more than just this negative view, that this negative view is only one part of what your relationship is. There are other parts. And here's the challenge for you, is to practice getting in touch with those other parts. See, right now you're probably giving 95% of your attention to all the things that aren't going well, all this negative stuff, right? And scanning, looking for all the ways that the evidence that supports this story. Now it's time to give equal attention to these other parts, right? To discover those, to think about those, to look for the things that support a more positive view of your partner, of your relationship, of yourself, because they are there. I promise you, they're there. You're just not looking for them, right? And so when people first start doing this, clients I work with, they struggle with it. They struggle to find those positive things. And you know what? That's perfectly normal. It's totally okay. It doesn't mean that anything's gone wrong. It doesn't mean that there's not positive parts to your relationship. It only means that you haven't been looking for them and you're not in the habit of noticing them, right? You've been in the habit for so long of noticing all the negative things. That's easy. It comes to you like right away. You don't even have to look for it. It's there. It's in front of your face. You're well practiced at noticing those things. So it's simply a matter of shifting your focus and practicing those things, practicing creating positive thoughts, noticing the things that are going well, right? So think of it as, okay, so you've got the negative part. What's the part that you want to cultivate? A positive part, the fun part, the snuggly part, the whatever that is for you. Um, Now, what you want to do is intentionally, like you have to practice this. It's not something, again, like I said, don't think that something's gone wrong if you can't um, think of these things off the top of your head. It will take time and it will take practice. So, what I suggest is you actually get a notebook for yourself, and you label it whatever you'd like, you know, positive things I'm noticing, or positive parts of my relationship that I'm working on growing, right? And so, whatever that is, and then each and every day, challenge yourself to notice at least 5 positive things and put them down in your notebook, because this way you can see it, and then it really creates the evidence in a visual way to say, oh yes, because it's easy for us to forget that stuff, especially when we haven't made it a habit yet. So write those things down, because then you can go back to them when you're not believing. When you get over here into the negative part again, your brain might be telling you, oh, that's not true. There's nothing really positive. Then you go back to your notebook and you look at all the things that you've written down over the days and you go, well, that's not true. My brain's lying to me. There really are positive things over here. I'm just not noticing them right now. And then that could help shift you back into noticing. And these don't have to be big, grand things. They could just be small, simple things. And they don't even have to be, they can be things that you notice about your partner, but they can also be things that you notice about yourself. Like if you notice a positive feeling, a positive thought, like those are all things that you want to put down. Like, here's a moment when I felt really good about our marriage, or really good about my husband or my partner. Um, because so often we're aware of our thoughts and feelings over here, but not over here. And again, like I said, we're not looking for grand gestures or even, massive shifts. We're small things first. And when you start to develop that practice, that habit of cultivating these other parts of your relationship, then your overall view will be more balanced. Because right now it's not balanced, especially if you're over here thinking like everything's really negative. So this is a way that you can still be present and enjoy your relationship despite your problems. Because the truth is, like, you're always going to have problems. There's always going to be issues in your relationship. It's just the nature of being in relationship with other people. But that doesn't mean that has to be all of who you are. You can still have problems, but you can still enjoy your partner and enjoy your marriage or relationship. So I'll leave you with that, right? Remember, this negative story, negative narrative you have about your partner, number one, and about your marriage is only one part. Okay? And so your challenge is to practice cultivating these other parts by intentionally getting in the habit of noticing positive things, using a notebook to write them down so you can refer back. And those positive things are what is going to support a more positive view. Okay, let me just take a look. So yeah, so I think that's it. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions at all about that, drop them in the comments. Or if you just have any comments about that, or something you want to share about your own story, your own experience in your own marriage or relationship that you think would be helpful, or you just want some feedback on, that would be awesome too. Just drop it in the comments. All right, everybody, have a great day.